Diego, California, the Miller Lite San Diego Open. I'm Chris Marlowe along with Paul Sunderland getting ready for semifinal action. Should be a great one. St. John Smith and Randy Stoklos for the first time this year playing in our semifinal, going up against Mike Dodd and John Hanley. $75,000 tournament quickly, 15 grand to the winners, 9, 7, 6, 4 on down. One of the big money tournaments of the year. Not the biggest. There are hundreds and 150s and a 250 at the end of the year. But as we start our action, obviously to win the most money, you have to win. Little dink shot by John Hanley. Hanley and Dodd did play once last year in the Tees Beach Open, the last beach volleyball tournament of the year. And they played very well. They had Hovland and Steffes in the semifinal, 14-11, but lost. And since that tournament was single elimination, they did not get another chance. But Hanley and Dodd, with Mike Dodd back on the right side, have proved to be a very good team in this tournament. This is St. John Smith, and there goes white pelota. Smith in yellow, Stoklos in multicolor today. Our first referee, Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard, our second official, is Kim Pickering. Pickering. Big hit, Stoklos has it.
Pretty good set.
And Stoklos does not clear. Stoklos looks like a race car driver today.
I was going to say a race car driver or a European motocross driver. Patches everywhere, signage everywhere.
John Hanley, he is in a very, very good volleyball team. You can see he's won 18 times on the professional tour. He also constructs $1 million homes. He's married to a beautiful Linda Robertson Hanley. They just had their first kid. So as you can see, Hanley very white. He has not got his beach tan together yet.
He's got the executive look.
Yes. Dodd pokes it up. And Hanley jams it down. And so right off the bat, Hanley and Dodd making a couple of spectacular plays.
John Hanley and Mike Dodd, I think, really complemented one another from their ability to transition, scramble, and play defense. Both of them work extremely hard. Veteran players, and they're just never going to give an inch, and they've got all that energy from being a first-time team this year.
Ball is dug off Hanley, and St. John Smith gets the kill. I remember last week, Randy Stoklos won his 100th individual tournament. St. John Smith won his 120th, and today they're going for number 100, and that's a record that may never be equaled. Smith, 6'3", 205, all-time leader in money and tournaments won. And Mike Dodd sizzles one out of bounds, and Smith and Stoklos have their first point.
Point to Smith and Stoklos. One looking at two as he continues to go live.
Just the start of our coverage here on Prime Network. We're glad you're with us wherever you may be. Smith and Stoklos have lost once today. They lost to Hovland and Steffes in a great, thrilling finals of the winners bracket, 15-13. Smith has the dig, chance to tie. Big hit by St. John Smith.
You can only fake block so many times, and Randy Stoklos put in the dug ball in perfect position. St. John just hammering away cross court. Mike Dodd not aware that time that John Hanley was going to drop back and play defense. You mentioned the loss by Smith and Stoklos. That was their first loss going back to last year, including some international events. They've won 7 tournaments in a row, and including the action in San Diego, 47 straight games.
The ball is hit out of bounds by Hanley, so Hanley and Dodd, after scoring the first 2 points, make a couple of hitting errors, and as we take the turn, Smith and Stoklos have scored 3 in a row. 3-2, opening in our semifinal. Back at we're back. The beach is packed. The AVP Tour rolls on today. The Miller Lite San Diego Open. This is how the seeding went. Smith and Stoklos, Hovland, Steffes, Frohoff, and Akatebi moving up to third. Dodd, Hanley, Ludies, Verbalovich, Johnson and Powers, Walmer and Jantz, and Mir and Friedrichsen. Stoklos, Smith, Hovland, Steffes met in the finals of the winners bracket, and to repeat, Hovland and Steffes beating Smith and Stoklos for the first time this summer, but that does not knock Smith and Stoklos out. That just puts them in the losers bracket of double elimination. And here we are. wins every year for St. John Smith, and more and more. Smith will serve. He's now 34 years old. Just thinking the other day, Paul, I think he can play till he's 40. Same with Randy Stoklos. The way they are playing, the physical condition that he's in. He's dug. Chance for another point. 4 in a row. Not yet. Dodd has it.
That's trouble.
Big trouble as Big Randy tops it.
Okay, if you put the ball right on top of the net, or over in that case against Randy Stoklos, you can just put it down in the book. Getting back to St. John Smith being 34 and how long he can play, I think he will play as long, or maybe even longer, than he stays with Randy Stoklos. St. John passes the ball so well and plays such great defense. He'll be competitive even if he slows down a little bit offensively because of the ball control.
Dodd digs. Smith has it. And Stoklos with a scoop, but back over. Get off the shovel and the flipper. It's digging time.
You don't often see anyone out-scramble St. John Smith. This is just a great extension play. And then Randy Stoklos, not only keeping the ball in play, but a tough shot. And John Hanley completely extended, showing off for his new son.
Dodd will serve. What's his son's name?
Matthew Jordan Hanley, born 3/24/91.
Smith. And Smith pounds it straight down the line. So Randy Stoklos will go back to serve. He's wearing a wrap on his left ankle that he sprained last week in Phoenix. He got caught in the part of the sand that meets the junction of the terra firma, or the grass. Twisted it, tweaked it. Little controversy. Nice dig again by St. John, and Randy makes, well, probably his worst play of the summer. He had the dig. I think he thought about setting it, but like the last second tried to cut it.
Well, the breeze is picking up just a little bit here as we get a little later in the day, and St. John dug that ball so perfectly. I think Randy felt that ball was 50-50. Can he go up for the tap down? Okay, when Smith digs the ball, he just doesn't get his hands on it. He digs the ball with great control.
4-2 is our score. Smith Stoklos lead. And Smith is easily by the block. So St. John Smith early has 5 kills, and he's getting a lot of work. A number of unforced errors early for Hanley Dodd. A couple of hits out. One by Dodd, one by Hanley. That's the deficit. Hanley. And Smith with another dig. But Randy may have touched the net. He did, according to umpire Kim Pickering. If you just joined us, Hanley and Dodd got out 2-0. Smith and Stoklos have scored 4 straight points.
Keeping the ball on St. John deep.
Dodd with a dig, back over. Stoklos with the perfect jump set. Stoklos loading up for the bomb. Now Hanley chasing, can't get there.
Just ran out of room. Mike Dodd showing St. John Smith that he too can play defense. And remember when it was Smith and Stoklos against Hovland and Dodd. 2 of the best blockers up front, and Smith and Dodd clearly 2 of the best diggers. Mike holds his ground, gets his arms out early with good ball control, but Hanley just running out of room.
Oh, they call that a double contact on John Hanley.
Wow. It's a double hit, Mike.
Tight call, Paul. Jim Leonard, our first referee, didn't like it.
Well, I think what Mike was complaining about was that St. John Smith set a ball very similar to that in look and timing. Just the play before didn't get called, and then his partner John Hanley gets called right here. The players just want consistency.
Hanley's got a good pair of hands as the ball does not clear. So Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith have turned it up a notch. 6 straight points after getting out behind 2-0. Big Randy, is there pressure on him today, Paul? Is he thinking about 100, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Pressure on Smith and Stoklos?
I'm not sure pressure, but maybe a distraction. And that doesn't always necessarily translate into pressure, but it does translate into maybe losing your edge just a little bit. I think if they put up 100 on the board together as a team, I don't think in our lifetimes we'll see anybody come close to that.
Been playing together since 1981 as Hanley sets to put the ball in play. And inside goes Smith. So St. John Smith racking them up.
St. John now with 6 kills, and Not a bad matchup. John Hanley at only 6'3", but a pretty smart blocker, but has got to keep his hands over the net. Let his inside hand drift off a little bit. St. John was able to chop the ball down inside.
St. John made $221,000 last year in beach prize money. Dodd misses, hits out. Now it is 7-2, and Hanley Dodd need a timeout.
Well, right now it's just a story of unforced errors for John Hanley and Mike Dodd. They've been playing so flawlessly as a new team this year. Together they have a total of 5 unforced errors. Balls hit out of bounds into the net.
Part of it intimidation by Stoklos up there, as John Hanley finally puts one down to the sand. And now Mike Dodd. We talked a lot about Mike Dodd making the transition back from the left to the right. With Frohoff, he had to block more, but we think he's a great defensive player. I'd like to see him back there digging behind the block.
Well, also, I think once he digs the ball from the right side, his shots to score are much more effective from the right side, playing over there for so many years with Tim Hovland.
Boy, Stoklos is setting the ball so well today. Not a nary of spin. And so Stokey will get back to Sir. Watch the hands on this.
Whoosh. Pass is perfect, and this is the Smith-Stoklos game. The 2 first contacts, the pass and the set, absolutely consistent, the same every time. That's trouble.
Little low, little tight. Hanley attacking. Smith has it on the left. And Smith again rolls into the corner. So Smith and Stoklos already stung by a loss earlier in the tournament to Hovland and Steffes, taking out their anger on Hovland. Make that Dodd and Hanley at the moment. We welcome you back. Today, a big crowd on hand to witness the Miller Lite San Diego Open. By the way, if you're interested in ordering some of the best stuff on the beach, AVP Pro Wear, 1-800-PRO-WEAR. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific. 1-800-PRO-WEAR. The best in tanks, tees, tops, tubes, and everything else. Semi-final action, Smith and Stoklos are laying it hard to Hanley and Dodd at the moment. Hanley and Dodd having trouble siding out. And finally, John Hanley hits hard down the line.
I think John Hanley and Mike Dodd have got to change it up. They've served St. John Smith 9 times. He's got 8 kills. Randy Stoklos has yet to see a serve. Breeze has come up a little bit, test him with the jump serve, but John Hanley staying down and going short to St. John Smith.
Hasn't worked. Smith has been flawless. And he is again.
There's number 10.
So Smith and Stoklos get another side out.
I mean, the school of thought is that if St. John is having a bad day, you can block him a couple of times and dig him. But right now, he's being absolutely flawless. You can't just cruise along this way. Hanley and Dodd will end up losing 15-5, 15-6. You got to go back to Randy Stoklos maybe with a jumper into the wind.
They have given up 8 straight points. Dodd. And Smith with a phenomenal dig, but Stoklos perhaps impaired just a bit by the swollen ankle. Sprained it last week in Phoenix.
Also maybe a smart
Didn't
move.
he tell you he played on Monday after the tournament?
I asked the first time I ran into Randy yesterday. I said, how's the foot, how's the ankle feeling? And he said, well, it's a little bit sore. I got back to Los Angeles and I wanted to test it out. I played 3 games on Monday. I said, on Monday? And he said, well, you know, it's feeling okay and I needed the work. And I guess it stiffened up on him, and he's also aggravated his knees, compensating for the landing on the sore ankle. So Randy a little bit dinged up.
He's 199. His first one with Jim Menges. And Stoklos stuffs it straight down.
See the value of ball control. We talked about the Smith pass, the Stoklos set. Perfect height, distance from the net. Hanley and Dodd, if they make the slightest error, set the ball 6 inches too close, a 1.5 feet too far off the net, Smith and Stoklos going to score with the block or with a dig or out of transition.
9-2 is our score. Winner of this match plays Steffes and Hovland.
Dodd and Hanley getting away with one. You see Mike Dodd compensating for the trap set the play before. Gets very conservative here. Bump sets the ball 6 or 7 feet off the net. There you see Hanley jumping backwards. St. John Smith red cross court. Gave up the line and Hanley spotted it.
John Hanley, who played at the University of Hawaii. Lived for a long time in Santa Barbara. Made $60,000 last year. He won in Fort Myers.